guide to the careers page and interview preparation you can use for future and help you prepare for interviews. As I mentioned on that video, there's a little STAR approach which can actually help you in that preparation process. I'm actually going to explain it and go in a little bit more detail. So the STAR approach, it pays well to prepare for applications and interviews, and you will undoubtedly be asked questions to demonstrate your experience and skills by talking about what you have done. And the STAR system can be used for that. So it looks at situation, task, action and result. It's commonly used as a method for analysing practical learning and accomplishments, and is often used as a tool in application forms and interviews. For example, an employer might ask you to describe a situation where you've worked in a team. Okay, so that's obviously looking at the action, but also the situation that you've done that in. So employers use this approach because they want to know how you apply your skills, how you make things happen, and what are the results that you could obtain as a result of doing that. So it's often kind of that key process of preparing kind of questions that will lead into this system of answering.
What are competency questions and how to use STAR? Employers use competency questions in applications and interviews. They use them to obtain evidence of skills which are important to the role or the employer. These skills are relatively easy to identify as they're usually found in the job or placement advert, job description or person specification. The STAR technique is a great way to answer competency-based questions, whether you're faced with them in applications or interviews. The STAR technique helps you answer the question in a concise and confident way, giving the employer the evidence of the skill that they're looking for. Okay, so here are some examples of competency questions. Provide an example of your ability to build and develop good working relations with a variety of people to achieve a common goal. Tell us about a time when you had to manage an event or project. How did you ensure it was successful? Provide a strong example of your ability to communicate to a variety of audiences. Okay, let's take a closer look at a specific question. Let's look at tell us about a situation where you exceeded customer service or client care expectations. To answer this question, we'll use the STAR technique. Please pause the video to read each section of the example as you go through. Situation. This is where you need to briefly give the background to the situation or example. Task. Here you'll need to explain the nature of the task or problem or outcome you were aiming to achieve. Action. Explain what you did, providing evidence of the skill you used. Result. Describe the result of your actions, ideally a positive outcome or what you learnt from the experience. Here's the complete answer using all 4 sections. Getting it right. If writing your answers in an application, always check your spelling and grammar. If you get this wrong, it doesn't matter how good your example is, you may not be shortlisted for interview. Make every word count. This will help you make your answers concise and give enough evidence of the skill being measured. This is important as you are often asked to write within a word limit. Don't just describe what you did. It's important to write about the skill that you used in the task that you undertook. Don't get bogged down in technical or business jargon. Try and focus on the action bit of your answer. This should make up approximately 60% of your answer. So, now you've got the knowledge, put it to the test.
So the video and obviously my discussion around the STAR technique has obviously given you a little insight into it. Here you can see on screen is an example of that approach. The employers asked the following question. Tell us about a recent difficult situation or problem that you encountered in work. How did you resolve it and where did you learn it from? So here's an example on screen. So the situation, whilst acting as a relief supervisor at a well-known pizza restaurant, a customer began loudly to complain about the service being slow. So the task or the target you set yourself to satisfy the person without upsetting other customers who were also waiting for the food to arrive. Actions, so what did you do? Listen carefully to the customer's point of view. Calmly and diplomatically explain due to a staff illness. Reassure them that was being dealt with and offer them complimentary drinks. So as a result of this, the customer calmed down, appreciated the situation we were faced with, and they realised that it wasn't deliberate and they were trying to, obviously we're trying to help them. And the importance of this, you learn kind of key listening skills and being able to see from other point of views. So when we're looking at interviews, can you think of different situations that you've experienced? So you may be asked a question on problem solving. You may be asking a question on your ability to do teamwork. So think of different scenarios you could actually apply to these generic kind of questions on teamwork, communication, problem solving, where you've demonstrated. So it's being prepared for that interview, going through this kind of systematic approach where you've explained something, the actions you took and a result, and demonstrating your ability to do that within the workplace is what they're going to be looking for. So being aware of this approach can effectively prepare you for job applications interviews. The technique also provides you with another way of unpacking your key skills. Using the STAR technique template, which has been provided you, I'd like you to actually look at key skills that are needed for a specific job you're applying for. So you can pick one of the following jobs below. So it could be an academy coach, it could be an analyst for a Division 1 club, it could be a football development officer, a PGC interview, a community coach, a facility manager or Power League staff, whatever it is. So what I'd like you actually to do is come up with using the STAR technique, come up with some of the questions that they might ask you specifically for that job role. So this is the template I'm asking you to download. So just a case of, for that job, different situations, different key skills, and how you may address their question on this. Okay, so hopefully you will have spent a little bit of time on kind of working on that interview technique of planning key questions that might have asked. What you also might do, in addition to the STAR technique, is actually, list some questions that may be asked of you, which are job specific, and then actually write some notes around those areas. The other thing that can be really useful is actually having a go at being interviewed. So as you can see on screen, I've given you a link to jobsite.co.uk, Be My Interviewer. And on this site, there's various different interviews which you can undertake. It's in a video format. You click on the video and they ask you questions and you can pause it and then come up with your answers and responses. So there's, Lord Sugar is on there, and there's people from, obviously he's off the Apprentice programme. There's people from Dragon's Den, lots of different interview questions that you may want to pick out and prepare you for that interview process. And this is a really helpful tool and website that can help you prepare for that interview. So have a little go at some of these little activities and videos.